Good day, everyone. I am Laura Kilat, and I am the representative of the Group 5 Rainy Badgers. My group mates are Lausa Giselle, Pelayo DC Jane, Carolio Jan Villa, and Humamel Vanessa Jane. Today, I am going to discuss our topic, which is the learning characteristics of learners with difficulty hearing. To begin with, let us first define hearing impairment. So, while the term hearing impairment is often used generically to describe a wide range of hearing losses, including deafness, the Regulations for IDEA or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act defines hearing loss and deafness separately. So, according to IDEA, hearing impairment is an impairment in hearing, whether permanent or fluctuating, that adversely affects a child's educational performance but not included under the definition of deafness. So it is hearing loss below 19 decibels. So when we say decibels, it is a logarithmic unit used to measure sound level. It is also widely used in electronics, signals, and communication. So hearing impairment may exist in one ear or in both ears. So it can be mild to severe hearing loss. While deafness, according also to IDEA, is viewed as a condition that prevents an individual from receiving sound in all or most of its forms. So it is considered when hearing loss is above 90 decibels or profound hearing loss. In short, deafness is the complete loss of hearing. But hearing impairment and deafness is two of the categories under which children with disabilities may be eligible for special education and related service programming. To identify learners with difficulty hearing, observe a student and see if he or she does the following items below. First is speaking loudly. Students with hearing difficulties may speak loudly because they have difficulty perceiving their own voice and regulating its volume. They may do this in an attempt to compensate for their hearing loss. Second is positioning ear toward the direction of the one speaking. This behavior suggests that the student is trying to maximize their ability to hear by directing their ear towards the sound source. It is a subconscious attempt to gather as much auditory information as possible. Next is asking for information to be repeated again and again. Students who frequently ask for information to be repeated may be experiencing difficulty in understanding spoken language due to hearing loss. They may miss or misinterpret certain words or phrases, leading to the need for repetition. Next is delayed development of speech. Hearing loss can impact a student's ability to develop speech and language skills. If a student is demonstrating delays in acquiring age-appropriate speech and language milestones, it may indicate a hearing impairment. Next is watching the face of the speaker intently. When a student pays close attention to the speaker's face, it suggests that they are relying on visual cues such as lip movements and facial expressions to compensate for their hearing loss. This behavior helps them understand the speaker's message more effectively. Next is favoring one ear. A student who consistently favors one ear over the other might be indicating a hearing difficulty in the other ear. They may turn their head or position themselves in a way that allows the better hearing ear to face the sound source. Next is not responding when called. If a student consistently fails to respond when called, or appears to be unresponsive on situations that typically elicit a response, it may indicate an inability to perceive or understand the auditory stimulus due to hearing loss. Next is difficulty following directions. Hearing loss can affect a student's ability to process and comprehend spoken instructions. If a student frequently struggles to follow directions or requires repetition and clarification, it could be indicative of a hearing impairment. Next is does not mind loud noises. Students with hearing difficulties may not react to loud noises in the same way as their peers. This might be because they have difficulty perceiving or distinguishing different levels of sound. So last is learning close to the source of a sound. If a student consistently positions themselves close to the source of sound, such as sitting near the front of the classroom or TV, it could be an attempt to overcome their hearing difficulties by minimizing the distance between themselves and the sound source. So let's proceed to the learning characteristics. So these statements highlight the challenges faced by students with hearing impairment in their educational environment. Here's an explanation. So students with hearing impairment may miss out on daily conversations. So due to their hearing loss, students with hearing impairment may struggle to fully participate in everyday conversations. They may have difficulty understanding what others are saying, especially in situations with background noise or when multiple people are speaking simultaneously. So, second, they miss crucial information that non-hearing impaired students learn incidentally. Hearing impaired students might miss important information that their non-hearing impaired peers pick up naturally or incidentally through daily conversations. This can put them at a disadvantage academically and socially, as they may not have access to certain details, instructions, or social cues. Next is most learners with difficulty hearing use various methods of communication. The most common is the use of hearing aids combined with lip reading. The most common is the use of hearing aids combined with lip reading. Students with hearing impairment typically employ different methods of communication to overcome their difficulties. The most prevalent approach is the use of hearing aids, which amplify sound and enhance their ability to perceive auditory information. So additionally, lip reading or observing the movements of the speaker's lips and facial expressions is often used in combination with hearing aids to supplement auditory cues and improve comprehension. So these students are referred to as oral since they can communicate through speech as opposed to sign language. So, some students with hearing impairments use speech as their primary mode of communication. They may have received training in speech therapy and use techniques such as lip reading and amplification devices like hearing aids to understand spoken language. So, they might have delayed communication skills since the development of vocabulary is slower. Due to their hearing impairment, some students may experience delays in the development of vocabulary and other communication skills. This can be because they may have difficulty perceiving and understanding spoken language accurately. Next is they understand concept when the sentence structure is simpler. Students with hearing impairments often find it easier to comprehend information when it is presented in simpler sentence structures. Clear and concise language with well-structured sentences can help facilitate their understanding. So, interacting with students can be challenged, so they prefer to work on their own. So, these students prefer for individual work. So they may face challenges in group interactions or discussions due to difficulties in following conversations or understanding speech in noisy environments. As a result, they may prefer to work on their own, where they can focus better and learn at their own pace. There is assumption that the only adjustment for hearing impaired students is to make all instructional material and techniques in written format. Though there are other ways to adapt to hearing impaired students. The first one is teachers should help students develop the ability for speech reading or watching other lips, mouth, and expressions. So teachers can help students develop speech reading skills by emphasizing the importance of watching others' lips, mouth movements, and facial expression. This can enhance their ability to understand spoken language. So next is teachers should be mindful to free the class at all times when presenting information while ensuring the students with difficulty hearing sit near them. So teachers should arrange the classroom in a way that minimizes distractions and maximizes the students' ability to see and hear clearly. When presenting information, teachers should ensure that students with hearing difficulties are seated near the front, enabling them to see and hear more effectively. So next is exaggerating the pronunciation of words should not be done, for it just makes it difficult for the students with difficulty hearing. Teachers should be mindful of their speech patterns and ensure that they speak clearly and at a moderate pace. It is important to articulate words properly without exaggerating pronunciation, as this can hinder understanding for students with hearing difficulties. Speaking naturally and enunciating clearly will help ensure that all students can comprehend the information being presented. Exaggerating the pronunciation of words can indeed make it more challenging for this student to understand. So next is directions, as well as important parts of the lesson should always be written on the board. Written or pictorial directions instead of verbal directions may be given. This allows students to refer back to the instructions whenever they need clarification or reminders. Additionally, using visual aids such as pictures, diagrams, or other charts can further enhance understanding and comprehension for all students, not just those with hearing difficulties. Visual cues can often convey information more effectively than verbal instructions alone. So next is steps to an activity may be physically acted out instead of verbally given. This approach promotes kinesthetic learning and can be especially beneficial for students who learn best through physical movement and interaction. By demonstrating the steps instead of solely relying on verbal instructions, students can better grasp the concepts and follow along with the activity. So next is a variety of multisensory activities should be given to allow the students to focus on their learning strengths. So this can create a more inclusive classroom where everyone, including those students with hearing impairment, can participate and learn effectively. So finally, teachers should be more patient when waiting to hear a response from a hearing impaired students, which may take longer usual. So it is essential for teachers to be patient when interacting with hearing impaired students. These students often rely on various forms of communications, such as sign language, lip reading, or the use of hearing aids to understand and participate in classroom discussion. This reliance on visual cues or amplification devices can sometimes result in a delayed response. However, it is very crucial for teachers to understand that this delay does not indicate a lack of understanding or intelligence on the part of the students, but rather a natural consequences of their hearing impairment. So by being patient and allowing extra time for the student to process and formulate the response, teachers create an inclusive and supportive learning environment. So the patient can help alleviate inner pressure and anxiety the student may feel, allowing them to fully participate in class discussions without fearing judgment or feeling rushed. So In summary, utilizing written or pictorial directions, acting out steps, offering multisensory activities are all valuable approaches to support students with various learning needs, including those with difficulty hearing. These strategies enhance understanding, engagement, and overall learning outcomes for all students in the classroom. So, and that brings us to the end. Thank you for your time and attention today.